in the world of horology, where labels and prestige are so important and such a big marketing and pricing argument, there is a brand that is challenging all that by telling us everything there is to know of where the components of the watch come from, and by letting us know how much the watch costs to produce and how much they're selling it to us. So pretty much they're giving away their margins. The brand is a Swiss brand and is code 41. And here I have one of their watches, the Day 41, which is a watch that is pretty much entry level for them and for their pricing scale, but it costs around 1,500 euros. Even with all the labels and all the commercial novelties that this brand proposes, is this watch worth $1,500? Let's find out right away. Let me start by telling you a bit about the brand. The brand is a pretty new brand created in 2016, which, like many other newer brands, relies heavily on crowdfunding, but is based a lot on principles. They even have created a label called TTO, so Total Transparency on Origin, where they're pretty much telling you for every part of the watch how much it costs them and how much they're selling it to you for. Not only that, but they're also telling you where the part comes from. For example, for this watch, we know that the movement comes from Switzerland, but the case, the dial, the crystal come from China. This specific model could be labeled Swiss made because the movement is Swiss and 61% of its value is made in Switzerland. So it does qualify, but the company does not want to oppose the Swiss made label on it because they deem it confusing and, let's tell the truth, dishonest. And I do agree with them on that. They have a second transparency practice, and it's about their margin. They know that they're pretty much telling you that they will be applying a 3.5 multiplier on the production cost of the watch. So for example, if a watch costs them 100 to make, they're going to be selling it to you for 350. So that is pretty much a lot of transparency, a lot of information. Is that totally necessary? They believe it is. And by the way these watches are selling, so do many of their customers. The models you can buy from them, apart from this Day 41, which is priced around 1,500 euros, you've got the chrono, the NB24 chrono, which is pretty much a Horologique chronograph, and with the price that goes with it, so about 4,000 or so euros. And we've got the X41, that is pretty much like this Day 41, but with a movement that is hand-assembled, hand-finished in Switzerland. So once again, with the horologerie cost that comes with it. Let's get back to this one. Note that this watch comes in two sizes, so 37 and 40 millimeters. I have both that the company has kind of lent to me. Let's go for the 40 because I believe it is the most appropriate for the average male wrist. So you've got a 40 millimeter in diameter, you've got 46.7 millimeters in the lug to lug, you've got a 10.7 millimeter in height, so pretty nice and slim. You've got a big 26 millimeters in lug width, and that is due to the case design and to the fact that those lugs are pretty much thin and quite apart one from the other, but you have got just a 21 millimeter strap, which is a design decision. Speaking about design, the design of the watch is pretty striking, very characteristic of the brand. If you check their other models, you will see that you've got very similar things going along. So most of their models are skeletonized models. Even the chronograph, which is very pleasing, they have pretty much a brutalistic aesthetic with very angular lines, pretty nice decorated but angular plates, which are once again angularly decorated with Côte de Genève. On the 9 o'clock bridge, you've got the Code 41 branding in there. Some of the indices that have survived this aesthetic are still in there and are loomed, and so are the skeletonized hands. The case is pretty much 100% brushed. The brushing is very high quality. You only have very small polished elements, like a very small part of the bezel and a very, very small rehaut at the sides of the watch. The crown has a diamond-like pattern, and is signed 41 for the brand name. Protecting the crystal, you've got sapphire crystal, which is flat and with anti-reflective coating that works very well, let me tell you. Out of the back of the watch, you've got another sapphire crystal, which shows you the back of the movement and the rotor, signed code 41 as well. At the back of the watch, you've got a bit of information about their TTO label, the fact that this is a 10 ATM watch, and that is a very good surprise. Usually these very crazy watches have only 3 or 5 bars. 10 bar is very good because you can swim with it. The fact that it's automatic and the number of the watch, knowing that this precise series has 1834 watches and that I have number 656. Let's talk about the movement visible through that caseback, and it is the STP 615. STP is a Swiss watch manufacturer. This is a clone of the ETA 2824, however, is a skeletonized clone. The brand has regulated the movement in 5 positions, and it tells us that it should perform between 0 and 15 seconds per day. Let's see how it performs on the time grapher. In terms of movement accuracy, we are at -4 to -2, which is very good within COSC. So no complaints from me there. The last element I wanted to talk to you about the watch is the bracelet. The bracelet is totally in accordance with the rest of the watch. I would really go for this rubber strap because it is so brutally, so angular that it completely goes with the aesthetic of the rest of the watch. Not only that, but it is very comfortable. And the fact that you've got those huge ventilators, which makes you think of a crazy sports car, gives it a really nice look. But not only that, it gives it the capacity to be breathable on hot days, for example. The clasp is made of solid elements. It is pretty hard to set at first, but it has quick release. And once you've got it in, it is very functional, very good. So really, this bracelet is in itself a very, very good thing. Let's go to the positives and negatives of this watch. First positive, of course, bracelet that I was just talking to you about. Second positive would be the originality of this watch. You pretty much have seen nothing like it. It is steampunk, it is skeletonized, but it is so different from all the rest that I have seen. Even Sega designs and other skeletonized steampunk designs. It is something on its own. Then there's the fact, not of the watch, but of the company, that you exactly know how much this watch costs to make. So you know you're not being taken for a fool by the company. Well, let's go to the negative side of this watch. First of all, I would say the legibility. This is pretty common with skeletonized watches. I believe that they are more of a statement than a watch that you can easily read. And that is forgivable, but even so, I would really like to be able to read the hour more clearly on this watch. Number 2, the price is quite high, even though the company has made huge efforts on transparency. On all regards, I believe that the price should be a bit lower, not because it does not deserve to be this high, but because it would put them at a level where they're going to be going against models from way more established companies, models that are maybe not as well made or as original. But for example, models from Oris, the Oris 65, for example, and models from newer brands at that same price level, or even less, like Sega Design, for example. However, I believe this is a higher level of quality, and I really like what this company stands for. We really do need a breath of fresh air, not only companies that say they're disrupting the system, but companies that really do, or really try to do by changing things, the things that they can't change, like this company has done. So if you're interested in one of their watches, don't forget to check the description right down below. I'll be leaving you links to their website where you can get them. If you're interested in other skeleton models, check here the reviews that I have made on skeleton watches. I'll be seeing you on those videos or on another video very soon. Goodbye.